Hey guys, Eric with Bricksville here in Oklahoma City. So today we're going to be reviewing set number 7133, The Bounty Hunter's Pursuit. So it was available from April 2002 to December 2003. It was originally $30, but in today's dollars it's about $48, so let's say $50. Now, if you want to pick this up, it's between $300 to $400 new, and it's available sporadically. That's why there's such a wide range. It just depends on when it comes up, how much they're willing to let it go for, box condition, things like that. And then used in this type of condition, about $200. So quite a jump there. But we're going to go over some the unique figs. Every fig in here is unique to this set. Some cool piece usages and just kind of the value of this set. So let's get to it. So long story short on this overall set, this is from episode 2, Attack of the Clones, right after Zam Wesell tries to kill Senator Amidala, and Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi chase them down in their aircraft. Which if you have, that's kind of if you haven't seen episode 2, which if you haven't, what? But the aircraft included in this set is the XJ6 airspeeder, which is the one that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker go in. We'll go into more detail in that in a minute. And then the Coro II, which is the bounty hunter's spaceship. For minifigs, this includes 3 minifigs exclusive to the set. From left to right, we have Anakin Skywalker, who has the little braid for the Padawans, which I always found it interesting, and I still don't like it, that they don't give long hair on this. They give a braid that doesn't attach to anything, and then short hair on this figure, which in this era is consistent, but I just always found that interesting. He's equipped with the chromed out lightsabers, which they did in all the earlier sets. Then we have Obi-Wan Kenobi, which the interesting thing with his minifigure is that they tried to give a chin on it instead of making the beard go straight to the bottom of the minifig head, but it gives this weird double chin look that I thought was pretty interesting. But then he's got the kind of the longer hair, which they get a little bit more detailed later on with the figs. But this one, other than the double chin, is a pretty just, good standby figure. But then we have kind of the star of the show, in my opinion, of this, because also she doesn't appear anywhere else, is Zam Wesell. So they used sand purple for her minifig, which is a really rare color and even more rare for minifigs. In fact, the arms, this is the only minifig that has sand purple arms. So if yours cracks, it's not a good thing. And then the pants alone go for $90. This fig goes for the pants go for $50. The whole fig goes for about $90 to $100. So it's a very highly desired fig. And then it shows 2 different sides with a kind of cover on the face in human form, and then on the reverse side shows the more alien side when not transformed into a human figure. With the XJ6 airspeeder, which is the one that Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker fly to catch up with the assassin, I think has the most interesting builds and element usages out of the 2. Now, there's like I mentioned, there's no stickers in this set. It's all printed pieces, which is it's a treat, especially as the set gets older. I'm not having to worry about them wearing out. One thing to note, which is inaccurate, but I'm being picky. So in the manual and on the box, it shows Obi-Wan Kenobi flying and Anakin in the passenger seat. That's not accurate to the movie. In fact, Anakin was flying and being wildly erratic, and Obi-Wan was mentioning that how much he hates to fly with him. So it should actually be reversed. I also don't know why they're waving around their lightsabers, other than to show people that they are included. So... But for the ship itself, I'm going to take them out of here. You have overall build is pretty accurate to the ship. A little bit too much on the front here. It was a little bit more open on the actual ship, but for pieces, and if they had just gone straight across, I don't think it would have looked good. So this is probably how I would have built it too, but it's not exactly accurate. You have the two R2D2 bodies were used to create the engines on here with really cool detailing. I almost could see using these for some kind of cyberpunk R2D2 or some kind of astromech droid, but I really like those. Now, out of all of this, the most interesting story of a part are these cups. So these were used in Scala, which was kind of a forerunner to Lego Friends, and them trying to compete with Barbie. So that went from 1997 to 2001. This set came out in 2003. So essentially, they dragged these out after 2 years of retiring the mold, made it for this, and then truly retired it afterwards. So it was, I mean, one of the ways to get this afterwards, you can see it's not chromed on the bottom, which is common with all Lego pieces. When they chrome them, there has to be some point where it attaches to whatever it's in that isn't chromed. But it's a really nice usage on this. Also makes it a little hard to replace, but they just essentially use the extra large handle to be able to clip onto there. Then with the rest of the ship, you have a storage compartment in the back, which I guess can hold the lightsabers as long as you take them apart. On the back, you have the two exhausts, and then across here, you have a trans neon orange kind of engine thrust flames. There's no seats included, but you do have a control panel there and what are supposed to be the controls. So overall, a nice build with really cool parts usage. And next we have Zam Wesell's Coro II. So this build is pretty good for what it is. I do think the body is a little bit long, and then these tails are supposed to end in a point. I really wish they had used a piece similar to this, which I just pulled out of the parts wall. Now, this didn't exist until 5 years after this set came out, so they couldn't have. But if you were to remake it, or if you're building your own, I kind of suggest this piece. But for this, the windshield goes up here. You have your control panel, same one as the others. Both of these side pieces are printed, which is really nice. But then the best play feature on this is if you lift it up. Now, the pursuit did end, spoiler alert, with Zam Wesell crashing and getting away, but then Boba Fett killing Zam anyways to cover it up. But you can actually kind of recreate the crash scene by pulling back on, you can actually choose one or the other, but these right here, they pull back, and then, let's say, and then they pop off. So you can do that one at a time as well, though. So it's easier for loading back on there, but then you could also, like, a ship fires off, one engine falls off, it spirals out of control, and then you can drop the other one somewhere else. So I think it's a pretty cool feature, and one that I don't see on a lot of different ships, kind of having like that breakaway to recreate crash scenes, or just honestly whatever you could imagine. So overall, a good ship, and cool interpretation, and also good parts to use on other things. Like this printed windscreen on here is nice. The manual is pretty typical to this era, showing the figures in the front, two different bags within. I did find it interesting that the rendering on this fig just looks off, to be honest. And then we've got the standard Starfield here in the back. And then one other thing that I saw that was interesting is the rendering in one of the pages for Zam's figure shows inaccurate hips. It shows a hole on the side. Every other picture, like when it shows the figure in the beginning of that section for this, shows it correct, but just a weird little rendering thing, which, in the old manuals, and sometimes even now, I see, I'm part of some Facebook groups, and there's there's some interesting things that that get through the editors. But then it just gave a preview of all of the Attack of the Clones sets for that year. You've got Jango's Slave 1 up against Obi-Wan's Interceptor, the old Yoda mold with no printing on the face, old yellow-faced Palpatine. Just a cool little thing. And then it does encourage you to go to starwars.com or lego.com/Star Wars to be able to kind of continue the adventure. So overall, I love this set. There's a few different things, like we talked about the different pieces that could have been used, but that's really, they didn't exist then yet. So with what they had, it's pretty nice. The fact that there's no stickers in here at all is also nice. I mean, everything is printed. The 3 minifigures that are unique to here, including the sand purple, which is a relatively rare color, is nice to have with Sam. And then when we talk about the value, I just wanted to this is my biggest takeaway. So we talk about $50 in relative terms. It was 30 back in the days, but $50 was the relative one. That is what this set goes for today. When we talk about, oh, well, it was 30 bucks back in the day. Now the sets are $50 for like a medium-sized set. But these are about the same thing. You got 3 figs. You've got, I mean, 1 vehicle here instead of 2, but a much bigger one. If anything, it's a higher piece count, and which is a piece count I don't go by a lot because it can be tricky. You have something like the world map, an insane piece count, but to be honest, it's just a flat surface. It looks nice, but if that's your only judge, you're going to be like, wow, that's the best value to ever exist. Whereas something with larger pieces like the Slave 1 or some of those ships like that, they're not going to be as good because about 10% of its surface is taken up by 1 piece. So with all that said, this set is right in that range of value that we even see today, but it didn't get bought that much. So that's why today it's an insane value. But especially since if you want all the Star Wars figs, you can't get any of these anywhere else. So that also helps with keeping it definitely active. So that's our episode today. Let me know what you guys think about the figs, about Zam Wesell and Obi-Wan, especially with that chin on Obi-Wan. It's a little bit too high, but they were figuring it out. So definitely subscribe, like the channel, and turn on those notifications, and I'll see you next time.